Hello, my name's Chris Castell. I'm the creator of Horse Racing Systems. I've got a couple of systems on the market at the moment, and today we're going to have a look at a new release. This one's a free system, and you can download it for free from www.horse-racing-systems.net. If you go over to the website, you'd come to this as the home page, and click on the free downloads, and this is where you would enter your name and email address and confirm it, and then you would be directed to the downloads page. There are currently 3 downloads available. The main one is the system we're looking at in this video, which is the October National Hunt Lay System. It's a fantastic system, and it's actually the most consistent system that I've ever come across. It's only had one losing bet in 3 years. One losing bet in 3 years. That's quite amazing. Now, on average, you get about 19 selections a month, and the average profit is 18 points per month. And over the 3 years, the average lay bet has been 6. So that makes this a reasonably low liability lay betting system. If you also download the staking calculator, you should use that in conjunction with this system, because this will increase your profits quite a great deal. It's highly recommended to use the staking calculator. So download that too. It's free of charge. Also, there's a free report on how to bet and win, which includes valuable information to help you through any strategies that you want to adopt. Onto the system now. We'll be looking at 2 websites. The first is the Racing Post, and the second is the Sporting Life. Stay on the Sporting Life for the moment and click on the 4th down, which is Racing, and then click on the race cards. The October National Hunt Lay System is exactly what the title describes it as. It's a lay system that's to be used during October on the National Hunt races. So we ignore any flat race, and we ignore any race which is abroad or in Ireland. It's only UK races and only the jumps races. Well, Newbury's a flat meeting, so is Brighton, but Sedgefield is a jumps course. So let's have a look at the races at Sedgefield. First criteria we need to look at is that the number of runners in the race must be between 8 and 13. So if it's less than 8, just disregard it. The first race has 8 runners. I'm using Firefox as my browser here, and I like to open up each race in a new tab. So I right click on that and I open it up in a new tab. And I'll do that for the rest of the races which qualify. So there's another one. The next one is 8 runners. And then the next one is 9 runners. And the next 13. And then 9, 9, and 11 runners. So they all qualify from the runner point of view. You might want to also include runners where there are 14 or more. It's up to you. Just so long as when it's time for the race to begin, there are between 8 and 13 runners. If you select some of these, let's say you selected the race where there were 8 runners and there was a qualifier, but then just before the meeting there were some non-runners, well, you should cancel your bet there, or don't place your bet if the runners are like that. Not enough runners. Okay, so now we go on to the next criteria, we look at, out of the races which we've just selected, we go to the racing posts and look at the first race at Sedgefield, which is the 225. Go to cards and go to scroll down to Sedgefield and open up the first race. Scroll down to the betting forecast. We're interested in looking at the first and second favourite in the betting forecast, not these prices. These are the live prices. These are the betting forecast under the list of names, and we're looking for the first and second favourite, but only if the betting forecast odds are between 4 to 1 and 15 to 2. Well, the first one, Southerners, is too low, and actually so is the second one, so we'll skip that race and go on to the next one, which is the 3 o'clock at Sedgefield. Again, scroll down to the betting forecast. The first one, the price is too low. The second one, Greenbelt, that's okay, but here we've got the next two after that. They're the same price, so we'll look at those as well. We would just look at the first favourite in the betting forecast and the second favourite, but also any others that are joint price. So as long as they are joint price, that's okay. So we'll look at Greenbelt, Lord Larson and Teenage Idol, which takes us on to the next criteria, which is the age of the horse. The age of the horse must be between 3 and 7 year old. So we'll have a look at those three horses which qualified under the betting forecast. So Teenage Idol is age 6, so that's okay. Lord Larson is 7, that's okay. Greenbelt is age 9, that's too old. Okay, so we're just looking at Teenage Idol and Lord Larson, which takes us on to the next criteria, which is how it did in its last race. The horse must have raced at least once in its life racing history, and if it came first or second in its last race, it's not a selection. We just skip it and go on to the next thing. Teenage Idol did come second, so it's not a selection, and Lord Larson also came second, so it's not a selection. So then we'll skip this race and go on to the next one, which is the 335. Back to the racing post, open up the 335 meeting. We've got the favourite is too low in price, and so is the second favourite, that's too low. So we'll skip that one and then on to the next race, which is the 410. Favourite's too low in price, but the second favourite, Golden Jess, is okay. But then we see it's the third favourite is the same price, so that's a joint second favourite. So we'll look at Golden Jess and Lady Right. Right, okay. Lady Right is 7 years old, and that fits. But last time out, it came second, so that does not fit. Doesn't meet the criteria. So then go on to Golden Jess, 6 year old, that's fine. And last time out, it came fourth, so that's fine. That fits. Now we go to the next criteria, is that if it's run within less than 16 days, we don't select it. Anything 16 days or more, that's fine. Well, Golden Jess last ran 75 days ago, so Golden Jess can still be a selection. So just look at the last criteria, which is about class. Click on Golden Jess's name and see what class it ran last time. Class 4. So long as today's race is a class 4 or a class 5, then it would be a selection. Today's race is a class 4, so it's the same class as last time out. So long as it's the same class, so long as today's race is the same class or a drop down in class by 1, then it's a selection. Anything else, you would just skip it. So Golden Jess is now a selection, which we can lay just before the off. On to the next race. 4:45. Rebel Hunter's too low. Ballabrook is okay, so let's check Ballabrook. Ballabrook is age 8, so it's too old, so we scratch that one. And then on to the next race, which is the 5:15. Bud's Dilemma, Stolen Light and Trodos Jet. They're all the same price, so let's check all of those. Bud's Dilemma is age 6. Trodos Jet is age 9, so that one's too old. Stolen Light is age 9, that's too old, so it's just Bud's Dilemma. And we'll see that last time out it fell, so that's okay, it didn't come first or second. But it ran 9 days ago, which is less than 16, so it's not a selection. So we'll scratch that one. And then have a look at the last and final race, which is the 5:45. Chestnut Ben and Desert Soul, they're all too low in price, so they're not a selection. So it's just the first horse that we had, which was Golden Jess. Okay, so that's it. Just when it comes about 60 seconds before the off, so long as the price is not higher than 9.4 as a lay price, you can lay it. Personally, I also use, I don't lay if it's below 2.1, but I'll leave that down to you because it's still a value bet if it's lower. And that's it really. If you haven't, it's best to use use this system so you can sit in front of the screen just before the off. But if you can't do that, you can lay the bet just 1 minute before the off. But do be mindful about the number of runners. It's just something that's to be mindful about. If you do place a bet and the number of runners go below 7, well, that's just one of those things that you have to work around. But just see how you go. You might want to paper trade for a couple of days and see how you get on. Okay, so don't forget you can go to www.horse-racing-systems.net and download this, and don't forget to download the staking calculator, because you should use that in conjunction with this system to maximize your profits. My name's Chris Castell, and thank you very much for listening. All the best then. Bye bye.